Meet David Beckham. You might know him as the man that got Manchester United fans talking about how to bend a football. Sir Alex Ferguson talking about the Spice Girls. The United States talking about Major League Soccer. And the tabloids talking about everything else. And with each flick of the flash, women coo and men concede that he's the sexiest human being to ever play the game. Bex may be all smiles on camera, but those smiles can't hide from the truth. When you become a professional athlete, it goes without saying that a good set of luggage is in order. Because whether it be on buses or airplanes, the pros travel a lot. During his playing career, David Beckham took the whole travel thing to another level. The London native represented clubs in 5 different countries on 2 continents during his 20-year career, including Los Angeles, a city once seen simply as a holiday destination for footballers overseas.
I've been lucky enough to have played in, some of the best leagues in the world, to be able to have played for the biggest club in England with Manchester United, biggest club in Spain, Real Madrid. Obviously, go on loan to AC Milan for me was an amazing experience, and then to come to the US and be successful with the Galaxy. I've lived in some great places. My family's grown over the years, and we've enjoyed our time here. Living in LA has been a dream.
Beckham retired from the pitch after a stint with Paris Saint-Germain in 2013. But while many associate retirement with finally having the chance to tend to their gardens, for Beckham, it meant keeping the bags packed and traveling even more. So whether it be in Kuwait, setting up fellow former footballers as part of a Legends match, or kick a ball around with some kids in Kathmandu as part of a funding campaign for UNICEF after an earthquake hit Nepal in 2015, Beckham can't shake the travel bug. He even visited 11 countries on all 7 continents in just 10 days as part of a 2015 BBC documentary for the love of the game, playing the sport he loves while raising money and awareness for a variety of charities. Football has given me everything, said Bex. Now I want to give something back, and I want to see how the power of football can unite people around the world. Coming up, the fabulous football career of David Beckham. The football stars were aligned over Manchester in 1992, because that was the year when a group of 6 young guns were introduced to the United starting lineup. Nicky Butt, Ryan Giggs, the Neville brothers Gary and Phil, and Paul Scholes were all born and raised in town. The last of the 6 was an East London boy who became the biggest name of them all. There once was a time when David Beckham was simply a really good football promise, born to parents who were fanatical Manchester United fans. But when he became the only non-Manchester native in that class of '92, it took some time before he finally fit in.
When we first moved up there, obviously we didn't know each other. We wasn't the best of friends when we first moved up, but we became that. We became, best of friends over the 15 years that we all played together, and it was a special partnership.
Fergie's fledglings went on to turn United into arguably the greatest team of all time. Between 1998 and 1999, the Red Devils took home the treble and followed that up with the Intercontinental Cup. But the success coincided with a move that distanced himself from Manchester. Beckham married Posh Spice, Victoria Adams, in 1999. Love was in the air for Posh and Becks, but coach Sir Alex Ferguson was less than enamoured with the situation. So after United won the Premier League in 2003, Real Madrid came calling and Beckham became a Galactico. He ended his 11-year career at Old Trafford, having scored 85 goals in 394 matches, winning 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 2 Community Shields, a Champions League and Intercontinental Cup.
As everyone knows, they're a great team. And, you know, it's a big challenge for me, so putting myself in this position is very exciting for me, so I'm looking forward to that.
Beckham joined a star-studded lineup in Madrid that included Ronaldo, Luis Figo, Raúl and Zinedine Zidane. But his time at the Bernabeu wasn't as stellar as it probably should have been. In 4 seasons with Real, he only managed to win the Spanish Super Cup upon his arrival in 2003 and La Liga upon his departure in 2007. He scored 20 goals in 155 matches. But from a marketing standpoint, President Florentino Perez and company nailed it. With Beckham on board, the team recorded over $600 million in merchandise sales. However, when Becks started opening football academies in Los Angeles during his time in Spain, rumors swirled. The MLS wanted Beckham to go from Galactico to Galaxy. And after becoming nothing more than an expensive bench warmer with Real, Beckham would commit what many purists thought was football suicide. Go and play in Los Angeles. In 2007, following his La Liga title, and at 32 years of age, David Beckham signed with the Los Angeles Galaxy in a move he hoped would put Major League Soccer on the world football map.
Potentially, in the States, soccer could be as big as it is everywhere else around the world. And I believe... And I'm very proud to be part of that and going to be part of that for the next 5 years and maybe a few more years later.
In 6 seasons with the Galaxy, interspliced with 2 loan stints at AC Milan, Beckham scored 20 goals in 118 games, winning 2 MLS Cups and 2 Supporters' Shields. His final title in 2012 came on the heels of announcing he was leaving Los Angeles, for his time as an on-field MLS football ambassador had come.
As soon as I came here, of course, there was going to be a certain amount of interest and a certain amount of interest around the world. And when I've been back to Europe and when I go back to England, especially at Christmas, and I'm watching Sky Sports and they're talking about the MLS and they're talking about, you know, and they're talking about the Galaxy, Seattle, you know, Red Bull, you know, there's interest there now. So if that's what I've brought to this league, then great. Hopefully it's in a great position now to continue to grow.
In January 2013, David Beckham left LA MLS champions and joined Paris Saint-Germain. No longer a spring chicken, at nearly 38 years of age, Beckham made the most of the final stop in his football career, starting from his first press conference.
Throughout this time now, I won't receive any salary. We've decided that my salary will go towards a children's charity, a local children's charity in Paris. And that's one of the things that we're very excited and proud to be able to do.
Although he only made 14 total appearances, he became the team's 400th active player. coming off the bench in a home win against Olympique Marseille in temperatures he forgot about while in LA.
Physically, I felt good. I couldn't feel my feet were frozen, but apart from that, I was very happy to be part of the team tonight.
After winning his 4th top-flight winners' medal, Beckham called time on his career. But he would much rather be remembered as a man who left it all on the pitch than a man who left the pitch with trophies.
I just want people to see me as a hard-working footballer, someone that's passionate about the game and someone that every time I stepped on the pitch, I've given everything that I have, because that's how I feel going into games at the end of my career. That's how I look back on it and hope people will see me.
David Beckham may have been a man of many teams, but throughout his 22-year career, he was also a man of many hairstyles. Before the experiments, Beckham kept things simple. But when he met Posh Spice, his hair spruced up with highlights and a little Brill cream. He arrived in Madrid looking like a pirate, but eventually shaved the whole thing off. He was then seen with coiffeurs like the mini mohawk, the metrosexual faux hawk, and the blonde hawk in a windstorm. He's tried buns, headbands, even the fuzzy light bulb look. And then there were the cornrows. Oh, the cornrows. But he eventually settled for a more classic look and life as a responsible dad.
Next summer.
Okay, if there's one aspect of David Beckham's life that many mortal men can relate to, it's the challenges that come with fatherhood. That said, fatherhood for Beck sometimes unfolds in front of thousands of cameras and gets special recognition in an acceptance speech from his 2015 Glamour magazine Woman of the Year wife.
Being a mum wouldn't be possible without David. Not only is he the most incredible father, but he's supportive and someone who loves and inspires me every single day.
Thanks for making the rest of us look bad, Bex. For Beckham, his family comes first. And so it's no surprise that after winning his final title in Los Angeles, his finest memory is that of sharing the pitch with them.
It was great, you know, obviously, I've been lucky enough over the years to be able to celebrate with my sons. Either, my oldest son, Brooklyn, celebrated with me in Manchester. All 3 of my boys were on the pitch at Real Madrid when I won the league in my last year there, and then to have them all there last night and my daughter and wife in the stands and family in the stands, it's, it's memories that I'll never forget.
After the break, admonished by Sir Alex. Down at Old Trafford during the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, one place you didn't want to be was on Fergie's bad side. Because once you were there, chances are you stayed there. And so when David Beckham began flirting with fame and fortune outside the Theatre of Dreams, Ferguson made his life a nightmare. Out of all of Fergie's fledglings, Beckham was the one with the most promise and perhaps the most talent. So Sir Alex made sure to keep an extra eye on the lad. Together they made Man United magnificent, and when Beckham married Victoria Adams from the Spice Girls, things with Fergie started falling apart. Ferguson once fined Beck's 2 weeks' wages after the player missed practice to stay at home with his ailing son, only to have discovered that wife Victoria was at a fashion show that same day. He was never a problem until he got married, he said. Things came to a head following an FA Cup defeat to Arsenal in 2003, with Ferguson giving him the hairdryer treatment in the dressing room before kicking a boot that hit Beckham above the left eye. And Bex lost it. I went for the gaffer. I don't know if I've ever lost control like that in my life before. 10 years passed when Sir Alex Ferguson came out with a controversial autobiography. Revealing a stern sense of admiration, Ferguson wrote that Beckham thought he was bigger than the authority of the managerial position and never fulfilled his football potential thanks to the woman by his side.
He fell in love with Victoria. That changed everything, I think. And being a football man, that, you know, I had to think about my own control of the club and where we're going with that. And, you know, if you had asked my advice about leaving Real Madrid to go to LA Galaxy, I would have told him exactly what I thought. How can you leave Real Madrid to go to LA Galaxy, you know? And of course, he reinvented himself a couple of times to go to Milan, and then to go to PSG. It was fantastic. And that's all down to the natural stamina he had. And also, I think towards the end, he probably did miss the big-time football. And that's a decision he made himself. Maybe in years to come, he'll look back and say, well, maybe I should have stayed with Real Madrid, whatever. But I don't think I'm being too critical on David. I think that the admiration for him goes to this. How can I argue with how he's turned out as a human being? He's an icon to every kid in the world. He's a very wealthy guy, so how can I possibly argue with that?
Only a few weeks later, it was Beckham's turn to unveil a book chronicling his own career. But there was no arguing on Beckham's side, just a rebuttal thinly veiled with pride, because the boy from East London ended up just fine.
I'm not upset at all about anything. You know, I'm excited about my book coming out. You know, obviously I wish the boss all the success with his book, because, you know, he's had an amazing career, one that, you know, many managers look at and want to achieve what he's achieved. You know, I owe him a lot as a manager for the way he brought me into Manchester United, and then he groomed me into a player that went on to win 19 trophies, to play for my country 115 times, to represent my country as a captain, to play for Real Madrid, to play for AC Milan, to play for PSG, to play for Galaxy and create an atmosphere in the United States where football now is a sport which is taken very seriously.
Beckham has since bought himself an MLS team in Miami, but there's no chance Fergie will be found working for Bex in Florida.
He's a manager that gave me the chance to play for my boyhood dream club. Great manager, but unfortunately he's retired.
However, in November 2015, they were reunited as part of his Match for Children in aid of UNICEF, with Bex convincing the boss to manage the Great Britain and Ireland side against the rest of the world, and hopefully ending the feud for good.
Bringing the boss back to Old Trafford into the dugout is something that I think it means so much to so many people. You know, Manchester United fans, to see the manager back in the dugout is a dream. Thankfully, we're going to be doing that, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've had so much support from fans. I saw him a few weeks ago, and we always went through this as kids. You know, we'd never obviously drink in front of the manager, talk about a night out in front of the manager, and then I found myself in a room the other day holding a glass of wine, and the manager comes over to me and starts talking to me, and I start kind of hiding my glass of wine behind my back. The manager will always have that hold over all of us, and rightly so.
And just like old times, in front of a capacity crowd at Old Trafford, Beckham and Fergie won one more time, defeating the world team 3-1. It was the perfect stage for a foundation Beckham has truly taken to heart. Just when you thought David Beckham couldn't be any more awesome, in 2015, he took his goodwill ambassador role with UNICEF to another level.
We have to ensure children are at the centre.
As a UNICEF ambassador and as a father, it breaks my heart to see children continue to suffer. That's why this year I launched my own initiative with UNICEF, the 7 Fund, making a serious commitment to help the most vulnerable children in the world.
Using his status as a media icon, Beckham hopes to make a serious dent in helping the UN achieve its goal to eliminate hunger and poverty by 2030. Because when he saw the devastation up close, it changed him forever.
It makes me proud to be able to tell my children about, you know, what I'm doing and the stories that I hear, because they're not easy stories to listen to. After my Philippines trip, I sat down with my oldest, Brooklyn, and told him about the story when I met the family that lost the little girl, Viana. It gives me goosebumps now because it was a devastating story to hear. You know, I'm an emotional person anyway, but to sit down with parents and have them tell me about losing, you know, their little girl, that was, I mean, it was heart-wrenching. I always felt that I should be doing more. I wanted to help in a much bigger way, a different way, a way that has never been done before. 7 different countries, 7 different initiatives that UNICEF have made me aware that really needs the most attention. Yeah, there's a big responsibility behind it, and there's certain expectations that we will meet. I can't stress how important this is.
Beckham wore the number 7 with Manchester United after a list of legends that includes George Best, Eric Cantona and Brian Robson. He wore number 7 with the England national team after a list of legends that includes Sir Stanley Matthews, Kevin Keegan and Brian Robson once again. The number clearly means a lot to him, as even his daughter Harper has 7 as her middle name. But perhaps in no occasion has that number been more important than his 7 fund. Still to come, Beckham and the 3 Lions. When David Beckham made his international debut for England in a 1996 World Cup qualifier against Moldova, who knew his relationship with the team and country would read like a Charles Dickens novel? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. The best of times? Beckham's last gasp, signature-bending free kick against Greece in 2001 to qualify his nation for the 2002 World Cup. Another best of times moment was when he became the first England player to score in 3 World Cups, nailing a trusty free kick against Ecuador. But then there were the worst of times. Like the time he became the first England captain to receive a red card in a match against Austria in 2005, which also made him the first England player ever to be sent off twice. The first time was even worse. Beckham became the nation's most hated man after receiving a red card at the 1998 World Cup in the round of 16 against Argentina, when he kicked out Diego Simeone, who made a meal of it to ensure the damage was done. England lost in a penalty shootout.
I look back at that situation now and I think I'm glad it happened in a way. You know, obviously, I wish it hadn't have happened, but it happened and I realise why it happened now. You know, it happened to make me a stronger person, a stronger player, a better person.
And when the 2012 Summer Olympics rolled around in his backyard, that better person was eager to be a part of Team GB, having come off a stellar year with the LA Galaxy.
For a football team to go into the Olympics in England, you know, it's a huge thing. So, yeah, I would love to be part of it in some way, and playing would be a bonus.
However, Team GB was coached by the gritty Stuart Pearce, a man who in his playing days was known as Psycho.
You know, form plays a big part, and I don't think there's a football manager around that picks on sentiment.
In the end, Beckham had to settle for an ambassador role with the organising committee, and it gave him a chance to watch Team GB lose to South Korea in the quarter-finals on penalties. All in all, Beckham racked up 17 goals and 115 appearances for the senior side, 58 of those as captain, leaving the team its second most capped player. The world has bent it like Beckham.
Beckham is such a hero, you know, in many, many ways.
Played soccer because of Beckham. Adopted certain styles because of Beckham. Even donated money because of Beckham. Maybe Sir Alex Ferguson was right. In many ways, Beckham became greater than the game he adores. But he's used that greatness for even greater causes. Something rarely seen in sports or anywhere else. And that is the truth.